At Christmas dinner, as I passed the mashed potatoes to my daughter-in-law, my son raised his wine glass and said something that shattered me. You are no longer our family. We've passed. Everyone went silent. Forks froze in midair. My heart did too. I laughed awkwardly, thinking it was a terrible joke. It wasn't. If you've ever been betrayed by the people you loved the most, and you wish for just one chance to make things right, or to make them regret everything, then this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle in, because this revenge? It's not cold. It's served flaming hot, on fine china, at Christmas dinner. I'm a 62-year-old widow. I raised 2 boys alone after my husband died in a car accident when they were in high school. I gave up everything for them. Worked double shifts. Skipped vacations. Wore the same winter coat for 10 years just so they could afford college. I didn't complain. That's what mothers do. Jason, my eldest, was always ambitious. Driven. Cold if I'm being honest. Always chasing something bigger, better. But I loved him anyway. Protected him. Defended him. Even when he made his younger brother feel small. Even when he called me embarrassing in front of his college friends. Still I was proud. Proud when he got into law school. Proud when he married his girlfriend, Anna. Proud when they bought their first home. Until I noticed something strange. The invitations stopped coming. Birthdays. Anniversaries. Even Mother's Day. I chalked it up to their busy schedule. They were building a life. That's what I told myself until Christmas Eve. It was my tradition. Every year I made the same roast, the same pie, the same table settings my husband once helped me pick. The house smelled like cinnamon and rosemary. The fireplace crackled. My younger son, Michael, flew in from Seattle just to be there. He still cared. Still called me Mama when he hugged me. Then Jason walked in with Anna and their new baby girl, my granddaughter. I hadn't even known they'd had her. My chest tightened, but I smiled. I wasn't going to let pain ruin Christmas. We sat down. I said grace. We passed dishes, laughed politely, and that's when Jason stood up and tapped his wine glass. I have something to say, he began, looking down at his plate like he was reading from a script. It's time we stopped pretending. You are no longer our family. We've passed. Emotionally, spiritually, legally. We've moved on. I blinked. Thought maybe I misheard him. I beg your pardon? I asked, my voice trembling. Anna looked away. Jason's face was stone. We've had our therapist help us draw boundaries. Toxic attachments. Unresolved dependency. You raised me and I'm grateful. But we're not emotionally obligated to maintain ties that harm our mental health. Michael dropped his fork. Are you serious, bro? Jason looked at him like he was the crazy one. It's best for us. We've passed, Mom. I felt like someone had plunged a knife into my stomach. My hands were shaking. My vision blurred. Not from age, but from sheer raw disbelief. My son, the boy I held through chickenpox, the boy who cried when his father died, was cutting me off like I was some expired lease. Anna stood up and nodded politely. We'll be leaving now. Thank you for dinner. Jason placed a sealed envelope next to my plate. It's all explained here. Please don't contact us again. They walked out with their coats. My granddaughter cooed softly from the carrier, never knowing the woman behind her would never be called Grandma. I didn't cry right away. I sat still, watching the flame on the candle flicker, watching my mashed potatoes grow cold. I felt hollow, like I no longer existed. Michael leaned over and whispered, "That was fed up, Mom." So fed up. Yeah, it was. But what they didn't know was that I wasn't just some poor aging woman clinging to her kids. I was a mother, yes, but I was also something else. I was smart, and I was done being disrespected. Michael stayed that night. He didn't ask, didn't say a word, just picked up the plates, cleared the table, and poured me a cup of chamomile tea like he used to when he was 8 and I was crying in the kitchen over overdue bills. We didn't speak about Jason. Not yet. The silence said enough. When I finally opened the envelope Jason had left, it wasn't just a letter. It was a notarized statement, drafted by his own firm, formally severing non-legal familial ties. A lawyer-written breakup letter. It used words like emotional closure, boundary establishment, and non-reciprocal value exchange. Non-reciprocal value exchange? Like I was a one-sided investment that hadn't paid off. I folded the letter slowly, set it on the fire, and watched it burn to ash. But in that moment, something inside me hardened. I had sacrificed everything. And they wanted to erase me like I was a mistake? They thought they were passing me like a baton in a race. No. They were about to find out exactly what it means when a mother who's given you everything decides she's done being quiet. They thought I had nothing left to lose. They were wrong. Because I still had the one thing that mattered. Control over the one thing they thought they had taken from me, legacy. I started slowly. Jason had always been the favorite in the eyes of the world. The attorney. The father. The clean-shaven, picture-perfect man with the polished LinkedIn profile and curated Christmas cards. But people forget, I was there before the suits and six-figure job. Before he interned at that firm. Before law school. And he forgot something else. Something crucial. His first big break came from my old friend Carol. She was a judge in a small district courthouse. She took a chance on him when no one else would. I had pulled that string. She still called me every month to check in. So I made one call. Just one. Told her what happened. Not to ask for favors. But to tell her that if Jason ever needed a character reference again, I wouldn't be offering one. Then came his scholarship records. He got a huge grant for law school based on financial hardship and no support system. Funny, considering I was paying half his rent under the table and working nights to help cover books. I dug up receipts, bank transfers, even handwritten notes where he promised to pay me back. I forwarded them anonymously to the scholarship committee, with a polite suggestion to reevaluate the accuracy of his financial disclosures. Then I remembered something else. When Jason married Anna, they begged me for money for the wedding. Said it would embarrass them to have a small event. I took out a line of credit, $22,000, to help pay for their dream ceremony. They promised to repay me. Even signed a written agreement. Jason, the ever-responsible lawyer, drafted it himself. Never paid back a cent. So I pulled up that agreement. Dusted it off. And took it to a lawyer friend of Michael's. He smiled when he saw it. Said it was airtight. We filed suit. I didn't want the money. Not anymore. I wanted the message to be clear. You don't disown a mother and expect her silence. The lawsuit hit them like a brick. Their picture-perfect lives weren't so perfect anymore. Jason tried to settle quietly. Offered me $5,000 and asked me to make it go away. I declined. He looked stunned. Why are you doing this? He asked. I looked him in the eye and said calmly, I'm simply honoring your boundaries. You're not my family, remember? But that wasn't all. Michael helped me set up a blog. Just a little one. Nothing dramatic. Just a space where I wrote about being a mother. About sacrifices. About betrayal. I didn't name names. But the details? Sharp enough to draw blood. It went viral. Other parents chimed in. My words reached thousands. Then tens of thousands. Jason called Michael and screamed at him to make me take it down. Michael laughed. She's just telling her truth. Bro, isn't that what your therapist told you to do? But the final blow didn't come from me. It came from Anna. One day, she showed up at my door. No baby. Just red eyes and shaking hands. She sat on the same couch where she once unwrapped Christmas gifts from me and cried. I didn't agree with what Jason did, she whispered. The therapist was his idea. He wanted a clean break before he made partner. Said having a needy parent was holding us back. I stayed silent. I wanted you to know. I'm leaving him. That night, I sat by the fire again, holding a cup of tea. No tears this time. Just peace. Jason had passed me up. But in doing so, he lost the woman who once held his world together. And he lost his wife. His career was stained. His lies exposed. His reputation cracked. Me? I finally reclaimed my dignity. My power. My voice. And for the first time in years, I slept like a baby. Sometimes the people you love the most will write you off like a footnote in their story. But remember, every villain forgets who taught them how to hold the pen. If this story hit you in the heart, or the gut, hit that like button, drop a comment telling us the most shocking betrayal you've ever seen, and make sure to subscribe. Because around here, We don't forget. And we don't forgive lightly.